Hi, everyone. Thanks for taking time out of your day to learn about SparkLayer and Katana and the way that we can help you maximize your revenue with a wholesale approach. So we're going to go through the introductions. You're going to learn about Alex and I. We're going to talk about Katana. We're going to talk about SparkLayer. We're going to talk about the benefits of working together. Um, And the reason of that being is how you can make a B2B portal in addition to a B2C one. So you can increase the number of ways that you are selling to customers and increase the range of customers that you have in your business. Alex, why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, nice to see you, everybody. I'm Alex. I'm the sales director at SparkLayer. So I look after all of SparkLayer's commercial operations. If you hadn't guessed by the accent, I'm based in the UK as does the rest of SparkLayer. So we're all based out here. But just got back from sunny Vegas where I saw Richard, hung out a
Mhm.
little bit out there. So yeah, you got Vegas's favorite duo presenting a few things to you today.
Yeah, I'm wondering if anyone else that's watching this was also at Shop Talk in Vegas last week.
Could have been.
Hopefully you were, because there was lots of good things to learn. Cool. And I'm Richard. I'm Canadian. I am a tech partner manager at Katana, so I work with all of our integrated solutions, like Shopify, Intuit, SparkLayer, all that. So yeah, we're gonna tell you about each other.
Perfect.
Okay, Katana. You might be here because you know a little bit about us. You could be a Katana user. You maybe have done a trial or a demo. Um, But in case you haven't heard of us, we are a cloud inventory and manufacturing platform. Most of our customers typically are making sort of like food and beverage, clothing and apparel, machinery and metal, pretty much anything that someone is going to purchase, like a physical good. We can almost always help you out. We've got about 1,500 different companies using us to handle their inventory and manufacturing spread across 70 countries. Um, Things that are really nice about Katana is most companies onboard to us in about 6 weeks. I know if you look at an alternative, like a really big all-in-one platform, they can take almost a year. It can cost, thousands of dollars. Katana, we try and make it easy and approachable for emerging businesses. And some of the great benefits that you get in Katana is you get insights into your inventory and sales, so you can forecast and plan, meaning you're on to less inventory, you're not over ordering, and you're stuck with things that you have to discount. And that will help you increase your sales turnover.
Nice. It's great.
Yes. These are some of the main reasons why people come to Katana. You might be experiencing one, but hopefully not all of these in your business. So yeah, if you need insights into your inventory planning, um, if you're having trouble syncing with sales, purchasing, inventory, and accounting data, so you're not quite sure what your numbers are, you might be sort of manually managing some info with Excel or some other systems and they don't integrate, they don't connect, and you're having to manually move things over or just guess. It's not always good. And if you're handling orders from multiple sales channels, it's easy for things to get lost, especially if you have a growing team. So these are just some of the things that Katana can solve. Sort of went over some of these already, so I will talk about the things that I haven't so far. We give you real-time inventory management, so there's not like a delay. We help you manage your production so you can assign tasks to your team. You can do pick and pack, ship, fulfillment, like instructions about how to build the product. You can also get insights into how long it's taking to manufacture things. So you know exactly what your production costs are or most efficient employees are. Um, yeah, I feel like that's enough about Katana. We're going to talk about SparkLayer now.
Cool. Thanks, Richard. Sounds good. So if you hadn't guessed it by the topic of today's webinar, then you will know now that SparkLayer is a powerful platform that basically allows someone to order wholesale on your website. So the reason we're called SparkLayer is because we literally layer on top of your existing website, whether that be on Shopify, BigCommerce, Wix, whatever your website's on, we can layer on top of it. And we basically build out that wholesale functionality to enable B2B, wholesale functionality to enable B2B ordering on your website. If you would move to the next slide, that would be great.
Great.
Thanks, Richard. How does SparkLayer work? So SparkLayer basically connects all of the systems that manage B2B data. So effectively, if you've got your back office, you're running that through Katana, and then you've got your sort of front office through your website. SparkLayer provides a bit of a link between those two things. It allows you to access all of that B2B specific pricing that you might have, set up within Katana, and then pull that through to the front end to display that to a B2B customer when they log in. In a similar vein to Katana, we activate pretty rapidly. So as is kind of a typically a 2-week onboarding process. We've had some customers that go on within 24 hours, and then we've got a few that take a little bit longer where there's more complexity. But essentially, we bring that self-service B2B ordering function to your website so that those who want to order wholesale can get access to their price, pay in the ways that they want to, and basically put an order through without having to speak to someone to be able to do a wholesale order.
Nice. You ready for the next slide?
I think I'm there ready. Yeah.
Perfect.
So how does it actually work? I kind of touched on this a little bit, but say you've got an existing direct to consumer website, you might be selling your products direct to consumer already, and you may have already got some sort of demand for B2B as well. Well, on that direct to consumer website, you would typically have a single price, although you might have a different price per country. Typically, you've got a single RRP that customer might pay. You've got simple product data, so you've got an image, you've got some description, for example, and then you've got the SKU for that particular product. And then you may have some payment options. So although you may have something like buy now, pay later and PayPal and all of those kind of things, typically someone is paying upfront and they're paying typically on a credit card in some way or another. And there's usually a pretty standard set of steps that go through that direct consumer journey. In the B2B world, you're typically contending with multiple different price lists. You've got different product and quantity rules. So, Richard might have to buy in packs of 6 on my website, for example, if he's a B2B customer. And maybe Richard pays by invoice, whereas I pay upfront by card as a B2B customer. So you've got different payment options as well as combining that with also sales teams. So B2B websites or B2B businesses often have a sales team that are working with customers to try and process orders or to try and give them answers to their questions that they have about the product. So on that B2B website, you may have a way for sales agents also to be able to order. So there's lots of different things that come in from a B2B point of view that need to be covered when it comes to your website that won't be in your native D2C website. And what SparkLayer does is basically blends all of those things together. Sometimes it's called blended, sometimes it's called hybrid, a bit of a mixture of both. But effectively, you can have one website where you can have all of your direct consumer experience combined with that wonderful B2B experience, with all of your customers being able to log in, get access to their right price, and be able to pay in different ways.
Nicely done. Thank you. All right. We're going to talk about things together.
Love
Alex, this is
that.
you again. Love it
Yeah,
together.
I think so. I think so. The point of that we're trying to get across here with this particular slide is that um, you'll have a native integration typically between Katana and Shopify, where you're syncing things like sales orders, um, your fulfillment statuses, your inventory levels, all the way up to your e-commerce platform. The benefit of having SparkLayer on top of your existing e-commerce platform is that all of that integration still works in the same way. So if your B2B customers are ordering your products, they're grabbing that inventory, um, then that's going to reduce your inventory on Shopify and therefore updating Katana, and likewise the other way around as well. So you've got basically this kind of matching going on across the whole system. But because you've got that native e-commerce integration into Katana and have SparkLayer layered on top of that e-commerce platform, All of that integration still works in the same way, which means that your inventory levels will update. You'll get all the benefits of Katana that Richard named previously, but also have that for your B2B customers as well as B2C.
Perfect.
And I suppose this kind of touches on this piece as well, which is that if you are able to do this, then you can streamline your operations and reduce manual tasks by around 50%. So what we see is a lot of times B2B customers or B2B merchants will be processing their B2B orders manually. And so they'll be, putting, whilst their direct to consumer orders are coming through the website and they're all kind of automated, those bigger, bulkier B2B orders that have got a lot more kind of going on with them, they're having to manually input those into a back office system, maybe like Katana or an ERP, for example. So we can streamline those operations, add that layer to that front end. That means all of those orders can kind of come through in a more automated way, which is great. It saves a bunch of time. That also saves a lot of money because one, you've also saved a ton of time, so you're not having to pay a salary necessarily to do that work, but it can be used for more revenue generating activities. But also you can save a bunch of money because you've got one website that manages both B2B and B2C, rather than having separate software to manage that. Saves a bunch of time also, because automating processes would obviously save you a lot of time, on average around 10 plus hours per week, which is great. But this one's also overlooked often and is a really important one. By having a more streamlined B2B experience for your customers, you can increase AOV also. So what we see is a lot of customers, they will add more to the carts, they will research more products, they will order more frequently also, and that will increase both AOV and also order velocity. So the amount of times that a B2B customer is ordering from you. So there's a ton of benefits to having a more streamlined operation from a front end perspective, and also from a back office point of view by integrating something like Shopify and SparkLayer into Katana.
Yeah, wow. Even just increasing the AOV by 33%. I know, like, who wouldn't love a 33% raise? I know I would.
Oh,
Um,
everybody would, for sure.
yeah, but if you're able to increase your revenue by over a third, just that alone, it's amazing. Because I know
For sure.
customers or companies spend a ton of time and a ton of money on things like social ads to increase their revenue, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You're able to bump it up while minimizing, all the manual effort and confusion. Gotta love
Totally.
it.
Totally.
Okay. Next important thing that I'm going to talk about is planning and forecasting because this definitely ties into managing your inventory when you are expanding into new markets if you want to diversify into wholesale. So, with that in mind, if you're going to shift from just a direct to consumer and you're then going to sell to other businesses, it will impact the way you order and produce your materials. So, there's a lot of way to go about forecasting. Qualitative methods are mostly trend analysis. So, that's where you're looking at past data, to understand, are things going to increase? Will things decrease? Will they stay the same? So this could be just looking at, how did your sales perform, from 2022 to 2023? Look at that, like range. Did it go up? Did it go down? Did it stay the same? So that would be linear. If it's a straight line, it can go up, it can go down, it can stay flat if it's the same year over year. It's been a pretty tumultuous couple of years though, so I kind of doubt anyone's sales have been flat. Definitely been
Totally.
up or down. You could also do a regression analysis. This is once again, where you're looking at historical sales data, but then you're going to factor in things like price, promotions, seasonality. Something that you can also think about now is the tariffs that are being impacted or sort of like implemented. How is that going to change your customers' behavior? Regression analysis is a little bit more complex than the trend analysis that we just talked about, where you're basically just thinking like, okay, my sales went up last year. I can assume they're going to go up about a similar amount this year. So regression analysis takes in a little bit more complexity than that. Then we think about a qualitative analysis. This is really good if you are a new business and you don't have multiple years of data. Some people do have the years of data, not everyone does. This is sort of based off of a mix of intuition, experience, and your own personal opinion. So you can sort of think, I'm going to spend this much on marketing. I might run this campaign. I'm going to do an influencer program. You can think about how that will increase your sales order volume, and you can order accordingly. There's another thing that you might be able to implement at your company. It's called, I think it's pronounced the Delphi technique. That's where you take a panel of experts. So, this can be employees on your team, and everyone sort of predicts anonymously what is going to happen to the sales data over the next year or so. You give your panel a number of questions. Um, and then the responses are compiled. From that, then a consensus forecast is generated that sort of implements everyone's predictions. Um, but yeah, there's a lot of ways to do this. It can get pretty complicated if you just do it manually. So I recommend looking into some planning and forecasting solutions. I know Katana has one. We work with other partners that do more specific planning and forecasting. So yeah, take a look around, see what works for you, your budget, and your company. But some best practices to keep in mind with this is number one, use data, use as much data as you can. So also keep in mind there's other sources in your company, or you might have other peers around you. So don't forget about the people on the sales team who are doing production. Also ask your suppliers. If you're just a solopreneur and you're not quite sure what's going to happen, talk to the people that you work with sort of like peripherally. What are they seeing in the market? You can also look into like research from different like market research firms. You might just pay for some of that, but it can be helpful for starting from the ground up. So next thing is be flexible. As we know, the market changes. Trends come, they go. It feels like, I don't know, with TikTok, the trends
Mhm.
go so fast. But that's life. Um, so yeah, keep in mind that you need to be flexible and things might not quite go uh, as you planned, and there's no point in sticking to the plan that you decided was right on January 1st. If it's not working and you're in the start of the next quarter like we are now, it's okay if it's not quite working. That brings us on to testing and refining. Forecasting is definitely a skill that takes a while. I feel like I've just started to understand forecasting on my own after a couple years in this career. And I'm now sort of getting to the accuracy part. Um, so yeah, test and refine, see what works for you. You'll learn what's right for your business, and you can tweak your process as you go. Next thing is communicate with your stakeholders, go back to your team, um, get input from what they're seeing. If your forecast is quite off from the reality, maybe it's time to revisit. Keep in mind, did you ask everyone's opinion from the start? There might be more people to communicate with or get insights from. And then once your team is sort of looped in and you've decided that maybe you need to tweak and refine, keep them updated and informed so you guys can work together as a unit.
Great tips.
Okay, this is you again.
Nice. The good forecasting tips there, Richard. Um, cool. So if you already have a D2C website, implementing Katana and SparkLayer is super simple. So effectively what we do is integrate your systems. So part of that will be integrating uh, Katana and Shopify together, or Katana on your e-commerce platform, and then SparkLayer in your e-commerce platform together. And then there's a little bit of integration that can happen between Katana and SparkLayer, where you can pull out your B2B specific pricing from Katana and put that into SparkLayer, which would be great. Um, Obviously, that then helps you to simplify all of your inventory solutions and go from there. And then also gives you the ability to then create that customizable self-serving B2B portal. So basically what that means is that using the Shopify or e-commerce platform and SparkLayer front end, you'll be able to create a fully self-service portal for your B2B customers. And you can customize that and make it look and feel like the rest of your website. If you do not have a portal yet, then you can get started with us. So yeah, we can help you scale that business. Like we said, like Richard has showed you in ample detail, simplify your inventory and your forecasting needs, which is awesome. And then integrate those systems up, create that self-service portal that we've already talked about.
Love it. That really brings us to the end. So yeah, you've got two QR codes up there. If you want more information about one system or hopefully both, you can book a call with our teams so you can sort of get a understanding of what the platforms both look like, how they operate independently, and we can talk about working together. If you need help with your inventory and manufacturing, or you're looking to build out a B2B portal, these are some great choices to think about. Alex, do you have any additional thoughts?
No, love it. I think as you said, like lots to think about there, lots of stuff to take away. But if you have any questions, then you got both of our QR codes here to scan away.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for joining us, everyone, and we'll see you.